Hi guys, good morning. It's still morning, right? Hi, Poet2. I don't know if I know your name. I remember looking at your IG. Hi, Desiree. Hi, everyone. Oh, Poet2, I missed it. Mia, Bella, Shanaries, K Po, Deboj. Hi, Audrey. Hi, Desiree. Sherry. Hi, Sherry. I'm got my first pretty tip last night. Man Ray, good morning. Deboj, Deb. Oh, Tape. Hi, Tina, Deborah. So glad you're live too. Kelly, hi. Virginia, thank you. I'm going to share how much I love them. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Aaron again. I know I haven't seen you, Aaron, lately either. I'm glad you're here. Hi, Rita. It's a good scope, isn't it? Stacy and Wendy, hi. I can read better when it's not looking at me. Instead of you guys looking at my nose while I try to read it. Hi, good morning, Flyboy Toy. I know your name. I know it. I totally know it. Kim, thanks for reminding me.
Hi, good morning. This is such a good topic, isn't it? How to find your purpose? Because I think a lot of us don't know what it is. And I think, especially if we're just, hello, good morning, share if you will. This is a good one. um, Thanks for sharing. Um, because I think we even float along as moms, not even thinking that we're supposed to identify it. And so, that's what I really want to talk about because there's so much information on how to be a better mom and how to create the home and do all this and that, but I think we're missing a huge element of it. And this is what I want to talk about. And really, can you tell me if anyone's new on here? Hey, Aaron. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Aaron. Um, can let me know if you're new, if you would. Okay, great. Hi, hello, Carol. Because I want to, I don't want to keep you in the dark, not know who I am. Okay, wonderful. Um, Chocolate hearts. My name is Jenny Penton. Oh, wonderful. Jen. Okay, great. Um, my name is Jenny Penton, and I'm a homeschooling mom of 8. And I have created a method to help women take focus less off their to do list and more on their purpose driven life. I also strongly believe and know that us as women and mothers need to be able to identify who we are outside of our motherhood. If we don't, at some point in our lives, we are going to feel it. And you probably feel it now. You just don't know what it is. You think maybe you need to be, it might come across as like, well, maybe if I got more play dates, maybe if I went out every Wednesday with my girlfriends and got coffee, that will fix it. What if I did this or that or this, trying to remedy it with these other methods other than finding your identity outside of motherhood will always be very short term and will not last. And this is really an exciting story for me, honestly, because I got to go back and see how God worked in my life, even though I wasn't sitting in my Bible every day and really studying His Word to try to and know it. I was so young. I got married so young. I was in my 20s. Well, that's what we need to find. And I'll tell you, um, when I had, hi, can I do this still? Hi, I'll be out in a minute. Okay. When I had just a couple kids under tow, man, I was so happy to be a stay-at-home mom. I was so happy to be a stay-at-home mom. It was my dream to be home with them. I wanted nothing more than to be home with my kids. That was what I wanted. Ever since I was little, I just knew it. Yep, I was 22, I think, when I got married. And then I had like 3 kids, and then all of a sudden I was going on play dates. I had a really great friend. We'd always go to the mall. We were buying Gap and finding great deals, and um, and but I felt depressed at the same time. And we're not talking like depression where I can't get up, but it was like one of those things where I was missing something, but I didn't know what it was. I was like, "What is wrong with you, Jenny?" And I kept saying, "Oh, I found it in the couch." So then I just didn't know how to pinpoint it, and it was just driving me crazy. I remember calling my mom, and I was crying, and I'd say, "Mom, what is wrong with me? I'm so happy." And I was looking at my kids playing. I was, "What's wrong with me? Why am I sad? Why do I feel unfulfilled?" And that's how I felt. I felt restless, and I felt unfulfilled. Yet, in the midst of everything I wanted to do and be, I wanted to be a wife. I wanted to be my children's mother. I wanted to be ever present and be home, but yet I felt restless. It was a really strange phenomenon for me because being so young and um, not quite, I didn't know what those feelings were. I wasn't mature enough to know what those feelings were. My mom didn't even know. She is, maybe you just want to be a kid again. I was like, I don't think that's what it is. So, but I will tell you that being a believer, oh, thank you. I was never really in the Bible and in the Word as I should have been, but I was just always growing in there and would go to God. But when I look back, God was always nudging me. And so, what I'm trying to tell you is that God nudges you, and you have to, and you won't even really know that that's Him. But because I didn't know that was Him when it happened to me, and it happened to me after, oh man, I think I was 5 kids in at the time, and I woke up in the middle of the night. I mean, we're talking, I sat straight up. And it was a big nudge. And he told me, God, it came from God. He said, "Jenny, well, my gosh, you paint. You are an artist. Why did you put that away? Pick it back up. Um, why don't you write stories? Why don't you?" Writing was in there. He was write a book, and paint. Those are my first things. I literally shoved my husband out of bed at 4 a.m. and I said, "Guess what? I'm gonna paint again. I'm gonna write a book or something." It was just something. I didn't know exactly what it was. It was just a little teeny nugget. It was just a little teeny thing. And I was like, "Oh gosh." And I had put my paintbrush away a long time ago because there was something with my mom that just something weird, and where my mom had always had these expectations with me with my art, so I completely threw it away. I literally wanted to burn my paintbrush and throw it away because my mom had these expectations of me, and I could never quite please her with my art. And so I was like, "Well, forget this. If I can't please, I'm throwing it away." And I was like in my teen years. So that was the first nudge. He said, "Pick the paintbrush back up." Um, exactly. Yes. And those things are there. God knew you before you were born. He had your days. He has your purpose before you were even born. You were made with a purpose. You are more than being just your children's mother. I think sometimes we think we're a mom. That's our role. We're a mom. How can we be a better mom? Yes, yes. But being the best mom you can be will never work if you don't know who you are outside of that. So yes, you already have. You just need to unearth it. Now, God's been nudging you all along. You just probably don't even realize it if you haven't found it already. Then it came again. Okay, then it was like, oh, because what He does is He gives you the desires of your heart. So if you're excited about something, let's say, you get excited, don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. If He gives you a desire of your heart, then explore it. And it's a journey and it's a process. So God only lights your path enough for you to see your feet moving on that path, right? So when I first got this, I never knew I'd be here where I am, which is much further where I was in my 20s. I'm much further now in my 40s than I was then. And it was just incrementally going. And so many times I wanted to throw out the towel with what I was doing, But God was molding and shaping me the whole time. There was a lot of molding to do, a lot of maturity to do, a lot of wisdom to be gained. How do you use it? Where do I take it? What's my story? Who the heck am I? What are these past issues that you have that you need to resolve to really unearth who you are? You know, there's a lot of different issues that we just might have that stop us from unearthing who we are too. So, what boundaries do you need to put up? Who do you need to forgive? What do you need to let go? What does your past tell you? You know, if you dive into it just for a little bit to unearth some things. Um, oh, awesome! Thanks for stopping in. So those are the little nudges that you need to explore and look at. And I've been growing and growing and growing and growing. You're so welcome ever since. It is, Rita, you're so right. And he's going to show you the path that you're supposed to go on. And you know, it's funny because I look back and I can see God move the whole time, where he had this relationship break off. He had to help shape me, and it all goes within my purpose. So a relationship has broken off, or a boundary was put up here, and then there was journaling to be done here, and then this didn't work here because I really wasn't being true to myself. I know that for me in the beginning, I started painting, and I thought I was going to write children's books, but you know what? That was just the beginning. And so, you know, you take it and you go with it, and maybe that kind of drops off, and then you get a new desire, and then you're like, oh, I'm going this way now. And so then God takes you this way. And I started up Planner Perfect, and I remember I planned this way for years and years and years, and that was just from my mom. But I remember I was doing Planner Perfect, but I wasn't using my art within my blog or any other attempts at that at all. So I was leaving out a big element of what my talent was as a mom. So then I was still restless. I was like, what in the world why? I'm going to throw Planner Perfect in the trash. Just my blog, everything I was doing, the book, everything I did. I still felt a little restless. Like this is not right. Something is just not right. And then I started to really, truly embrace my art and the desires in my heart. I got another, like, woo, I should do this. And then I started to paint and use it within the planning system and method that I created. And things started to really flow better for me. There was more of a flow. Things were flowing. The restlessness was long ago subsiding because it was just incrementally building. And so just know, oh, thank you. Just know that it is not hard to find your true purpose, but it's something that you need to find, and it's there. It's always been there. And so look for the desires of your heart. What are your desires of your heart? What are your talents? What can you use? What is your story? You know, what can you share? If you haven't even scoped yet yourself, maybe you should. If you're afraid of it, that's all more the reason to be doing it. Hi, Janice. Oh, wonderful. I'm glad you're here. So that is, and you know, of course, I started using all of this within my planner. Once you start to get excited, your motherhood jumps up to a whole new level. Honestly, you feel like a better mother. Your restlessness is gone. You can fully sit and embrace with your children without feeling like, wow, something's still missing, or this is, cleaning the toilet's so boring, or this is, do I really have to make dinner every single, night? Or you get depressed in your mothering and your motherhood. Yes, so now your planner is taking on a whole new meaning. It's a tool that can actually benefit you to the fullest, because now you're starting to identify, hey, I am a woman with strengths and talents and dreams. And I remember there was some other thing that popped into me that I feel God used. And my son, who's good at art, okay, he started doing stuff with his art. This is before I really started getting into mine again, because I put it away and I'm like, well, I can't, I'm a mom, I can't do it. How am I supposed to paint? I've got things to do. Do you ever feel that? It's kind of like, well, maybe I have talents, but I don't know how I'm supposed to use them. I mean, I have 8. So, as you can imagine, it seems daunting, to even think about having a dream. You got things to do, right? Well, I remember my son, he's like, hey, I'm going to go to New York, check this out, look at these museums and look at the masters. And he started painting and he had time. He had time. And I was jealous. And I remember looking at him painting and I was like, you handsome nugget, you having all this time on your hands. I'm jealous. I was jealous of my own son. But then God spoke to me again. He's just like, you know what, Jenny? You can find time for your dreams. You can find time for your talents. Handsome nugget. That's what he is. But that was also something that benefited me. Oh, yeah. So you can find time for your dreams. You can find time for your talents. And I always pray this, and I'm like, God, give me time that I don't have. Mind you, too. Um, I feel tired. Absolutely. And what I do is I find the time and I pray God to give me time that I don't have, and He always does. Hi, Ellie. And I get up at 5. That's how I pursue most of mine. I also will pursue my stuff in the middle of the day. Remember, Desiree, I was telling you how now I stand up painting because my 2-year-old used to come sit on my lap. If I ever sat down, he's like, hey, it's time to nurse and I'm going to take your paintbrush. So that's what I was dealing with. And then I was like, oh, great. Pray for time because He will give you that time. He really, really will. I'm like, God, give me time I don't have because if you really want this for me, and if this is something that is, if I'm in the center of your will and where I'm supposed to be going, God, I know you're going to make this work, and you have faith that you know it's going to work because it's bigger than you. If you can fulfill your dreams and your purpose and your goals within the scope of what you think you can do, then you're not trusting God to do this. This is not a God thing. This is a you thing. So, and for a while there, even if when God would give me little nuggets of different things that He would give me, even though, and what's so amazing and beautiful about this is that even though I wasn't wrapped up in the Word and being, in a sense, led by Him, but from what I thought I was, He loves me and He was still nudging me and He was gentle with me. Looking back, I'm like, wow, God loved me. He was nudging me how we should be with our children. There was no control factor here. There was a nudge here and a nudge there, and here you go, and this is it, and you should be here, and put a boundary up with that person, and this is what you need to work on with you. You need to grow here. Um, it's a journey. Your calling is a journey. It's a journey. You got a lot of growing to do for God to use you. I mean, if God's going to use you, He's got to mold you and shape you like clay. You've got work to do, And I was so young when it first started, but looking back, God, He was faithful. He kept nudging me. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta start getting into the Word and reading the Word and having God lead me. I need to really get in there with that relationship. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it. I gotta have a relationship with Him so that He can lead the way. I have to trust Him. So yeah, I've got big goals. I got big lofty goals with something I know God put into my heart. But if I were to really, really, really think about it, I don't think that scares me because I got 8 kids and I got a slew of responsibilities. How am I ever supposed to do this on my own? You know what? You can't. That's the thing. You can't do it on your own. You give it to God. You say, God, today, use me today. Use me today. Let me allow and give me the time I need to do this. Let me share. Help me be a vessel for you. Help me share and grow me into where you want me to be. And I'm going to leap out in faith and know that you're going to help me and equip me. And that is what we need to remember. So if you think, well, I've got all these responsibilities, I've been there before. Well, there's no way. I have too many responsibilities. Then you're depressed again. Oh, great. I got talent. Oh, I finally found it. I can't even use it. I got to go scrub toilets and make dinner and take kids to the dentist. How am I ever supposed to do it? You can and you will. And I have 8 and I can and I do. And I'm getting ready to make a big home business move, bigger than I think that I could ever think I can accomplish. Because if I really stare at what I think what my next business move is going to be with plan books, scares the living crap out of me because I have a hard enough time painting with 8 with the custom painting jobs I was doing. So this next leap is like, it's like, so, but I felt, I woke up and it was just the other night. I never even slept. And guess what? The next day, I wasn't even tired. It was like a total God thing. I couldn't even sleep. I was just praying and praying. God was like, "You need to do this with your next move with your business." It was like it had an instant desire and it sprang up. He always hits me in the middle of the night. But the next day, I'm like, "Oh great, I didn't get any sleep." So I was like so excited and praying and writing notes in my phone. That's what I'll do. I'll be like, I always keep my phone by my bedside, and then when I get, oh yeah, I am always in bed by 10:30, no later. I always make sure I get my sleep so I can get up early. And so I'm always writing in my note section on my phone. I'm like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, and God told me this, and I gotta do this, and oh my gosh, this is exciting. And then it's like, oh, how am I going to do this? Well, then I just give it to God. So the next day, I remember I was just like nuts. I was in my journal. I was like, oh, there was so much I wanted to do. I could barely even breathe. But yet I was so happy and satisfied in my home. I was playing with my babes. We played board games, but all of this was in my head and I was so excited. I wake up at 5 a.m. And you know what? Sometimes if I don't, it's okay. If I went to bed up late or my baby woke me up all night or I had a puker, whatever. You know what? God's going to take care of me. If I got to get up at 7, I'm like, God, give me time I don't have. Help me, And I have the time. It all works out good. This is God's deal anyway. He's going to make everything work out. Plus, my children are who I want to be first anyway. So take solace and comfort in that. Your children are first. Your family is first. And everything else will come into play when you let God work. So that's how I have come to where I am today, which I feel is an amazing place to be compared to where I was in my 20s. But it's funny because I was restless then, and now and there's been struggles and all of that along the way. But looking back, I can see, yes. Oh, sleep before midnight is actually better for your body, so you might try shifting. I go to bed at 10. Yes. You don't want to go to bed after that. That's not good for your body. But looking back, I can see how God was with me all the way. And those things that happened that I thought were like tragic things that were happening in my life, whether it was teenagers going awry or parent problems or sister problems or friend problems or I had a desire and I went for it and it failed miserably. I had all of that happening. And then all of a sudden, God was like, no, I don't want you here, but you learned a lot there. You learned a lot there about how you needed to grow, and I needed to humble you over here. You thought you were a leader at the top of your game over here, but you weren't. You weren't. And there's so much more that you got to do before you come to that point, and God can truly and get you in the point and the place He needs you and be in the center of His will and where He needs you to be. So just enjoy the journey. And the thing is, I didn't know that then, but if I knew it then, I wouldn't have been so afraid, So I want to tell you now so you don't have to go through that fear, because I didn't need to be afraid. That was one thing I was lacking. If I would have been in God's Word all the time, I wouldn't have been afraid. I would have known that He was doing a good work in me. I would have known that was part of the process. And don't limit God. For heaven's sakes, I just got a new book. You got to read it. If you're a believer, you need to read this book. It is called Don't Limit God. It's amazing. You'll read it all in one sitting, and you probably won't even make dinner because you'll be like, guys, eat toast because I'm going to finish this book. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't stress. Oh, man. If there's anything that I've learned through my life thus far, I really learned to let things go. Is that ketchup on the carpet? Who cares? I'll clean it up, and if it doesn't come up, we'll find a way later. Listen, I always let things go. Now, let me tell you, there's some times that I crack, okay? But for the most part, I let it go. I really do. There's no time for control and getting crazy. No way. I just, hey, we're all on a journey here. Let's all get along. So, anyway, this planner and how I use it, I love how chunky it is, and I'm really digging it, okay, this Traveler's Notebook. I fill it to the brim with my dreams, goals, what God is telling me to pursue and do. And I'm going for some big goal here that only God can do. I can't give myself a pat on the back for this next move. Before, I could. This time, no. No. And if we can give ourselves a pat on the back for what we've accomplished, then we're not dreaming big enough because we don't want to limit God. And let me tell you something. I want you to get the book. I'm going to tell you who the author is. There's also another one by him, How to Find, Follow, and Fulfill God's Will. Amazing. Let me see. He is Andrew Wommack, Wommack. You got to get the books. They're life changers, complete life changers. So us moms, take heart. Take heart. And the first thing, if you don't know it, is you need to find your identity. Because really, if you've ever wrestled with restlessness, that's what it is. You're not identifying yourself out of your motherhood. We get so wrapped up as being moms, yes, that you're going to get restless. And you're going to feel it. You know why you're restless? Because God's stirring you. That's why it's there in the first place. If you feel stirred up, there's a reason for it. You don't have to go leave the home and go take your suitcase and dress up in a suit and go to work, because that's not what that means. If you're a stay-at-home mom, when you get restless and stirred up, it just means find your identity outside of your motherhood. I'm not saying that that's bad if you do go out to work. I'm just saying for those women that they want to be home. I mean, I homeschool mine, so man, I'm in it with both feet. But that restlessness, hey, that's a sign. That's stirring you up. It's stirring you up. God wants you to find who you are outside of your identity, outside of your role as your children's mother. So have a wonderful and beautiful time unearthing it. And it's going to be a process and a journey, and be happy about it. Let God mold you. Just give yourself to him already. Don't even hold on to stuff that you know you need to change in yourself. And let him mold you. Man, I have learned a lot. I have grown up a lot. I have, yes, man, read, learn, let God use you. You're going to get in situations where you're like, wow, how could this ever be God's deal? Believe me, he uses every circumstance. None of it will be wasted. None of it will be wasted. God's doing such a great thing in you, and you guys are being us moms, man, we've got it's a hard job. And then you got to find yourself aside from it. But it's fun. It's so fun. God will bless you. He wants to use you. You've got a story that the world needs to hear. And he wants to use your talents, and that's why he's equipped you with talents and a purpose, so that he can use you. So don't ignore it. Listen to the nudges. Listen to the desires of your heart, and it's all there. Gosh, guys, I'm going to go. I got to go already. But you know what? I'm going to be back this afternoon, because just how God nudges us throughout our journeys, I do believe that's how we should be with our children, in terms of nudging and inspiring and helping and loving and growing and shaping. That's how I do my homeschooling and my unschooling. And I'm going to share with you how I plan it and how I do it, if you're interested, this afternoon. So I will catch you back later. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this has helped you. Thank you for coming in. Nice to meet all you new ones. And if you're on replay, thank you. You can find me on Planner Perfect everywhere. Facebook, I have a fan group. I've got IG is Planner Perfect Planner, where I've got my planning pages and some inspiration there. And then a blog and a food blog, Planner Perfect and Planner Perfect Meals. So thanks, you guys. I will catch you later this afternoon. Bye.